I've had an exciting fabric delivery this week and I thought you might like to see what's arrived and what I'm planning to do with it. My name's Sarah and welcome to my channel, So Sarah Sewed. I live in Melbourne, Australia with my two boys and I'm a music teacher and I love to knit and sew in my spare time. You might have watched a previous video of mine back in June when I put in my order for a Doops Designs fabric delivery. Doops Designs is a company that's based in northern New South Wales and they are definitely known for their very bright and colourful, awesome prints. I absolutely love them and I have quite a few of them. And I was really excited to receive a voucher for my birthday, which I put towards this particular order. Doops Designs fabric is ordered on a pre-order basis and the choices are can be a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. So you've got so much artwork to choose from in the first place. And then a lot of the artworks also have two different scales to choose from, whether you want it large scale or small scale. And then you've got to choose from your fabric bases as well. I think they've now got about 10 or 11 fabrics to choose from. The number used to be higher, but they have narrowed it down. So there's not as many choices, but still plenty of options. And in this order, I went for 2 knit fabrics and 1 woven. Now the first fabric I'll show you is a fabric that I'm hoping to sew up before it gets too warm to actually wear the garment, and that is a cotton rib knit. I've never bought a rib knit from Doops Designs before, so I was quite curious to see what it's like, and I'm really looking forward to sewing up this particular print. I think it was called something like Cactus, something about cactus, but maybe cactus blooms or something. So it's on a green background and it's got these different coloured pink flowers and also some orangey red flowers on there as well. And then very dark green cactus stems. So as you can see, it is a rib knit on a white base. I'm a little bit worried about the white coming through. It doesn't take a lot to be able to see that with this particular fabric. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I sew up my top that I'm making in this. And I'm planning to make a Freya top, which is a pattern by Tilly and the Buttons. I've made a few of them before and they do get a lot of wear. I particularly like styling these with my V-neck or pinafores. I think that sort of very low V and the high neck complement each other really well. So I'm looking forward to making that. I usually in Tilly and the Buttons patterns, I measure a size 5 and I make a size 5, but the Freya top is a very close fitting top I have found. And just to make sure it doesn't stretch too much and you get that pulled effect, I'm going to size up to a size 6 in this particular version and hopefully that will get me the look that I'm after. So yeah, it's quite a lightweight kind of feeling fabric, but made up into the Freya top, I think that will be a really nice layering piece while the weather is still cool enough to wear it. The next fabric is another knit fabric and this is the cotton elastane jersey. And to be honest with you, my memory was that I'd ordered this in the large scale design and I hadn't. I'd ordered it in the small. So my plan for this one is to make it into a t-shirt, but now that it's arrived, I'm just wondering whether, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I do think I probably would have preferred it in a large scale, this particular one. But look, I'll still make the t-shirt and see how I go with it. There are so many colors in this one. I think for this particular t-shirt, I'm going to choose a color in here that I have a matching ribbing for, because my t-shirts that I've been getting a lot of wear out of, they are now at a point where the neck bands have really been stretching out. They don't look that great anymore. So I'm hoping if I use a rib knit for the neck band, that will help avoid that kind of situation happening to future t-shirts. I'm even thinking about one of my t-shirts in another Doops Designs fabric that I love so much. I'm thinking about removing the neckband from that one and trying to put a rib knit one on instead so that I can get more wear out of it. But yeah, this one will be a t-shirt. I have a couple of t-shirts in mind that I might use for this fabric. One of them is the Jackson tee by Helen's Closet. I have made quite a few of those and I really like that pattern. That one's available in either a cropped length or a longer length. And I think I'd probably make the cropped length version. I tend to reach for my cropped length ones more than my longer length one. Another option I could go for is just a simple t-shirt from the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book. I can't remember the name of it. I've definitely made a few of those before as well and really like that one. The neckline on that one is slightly higher, so I'm probably leaning towards the Jackson tee. And the Jackson tee, actually the pattern is not just a t-shirt, it's also got a sweater view as well. So if you don't already have a good sweater and t-shirt pattern, That's a really good one because it gives you both in the one pattern. And the sizing for that is also unisex, so it can be made for anyone. The third fabric I put in for this order was my woven fabric, and I got the cotton linen blend. And that one I chose the design called Artist Loops. This one I got in the large scale, and it looks like this. So this is the one I got the most meterage for. I got 3 meters of this one, and I'm intending to make a long skirt with this one. And the pattern I've decided to use is the Henrietta skirt by Spaghetti Western Sewing. And it's a really interesting looking skirt, and I've seen a lot of people make it, and a lot of people say they really love it and they loved making it. And the interesting thing about this skirt is that it's got like a flat panel at the front, so no gathers in the center front, and then there's quite large gathers around the side over the hips and then down the sides of the skirt. So I'm hoping this one works out really well in that pattern. And yeah, I think this will be a great skirt to have all through the summer. When I was looking on the website, when I was ordering these designs, I found it quite difficult to sort of get an idea of what the large and small scale prints would really look like in real life. So yeah, there's the large. If you're thinking about getting the large scale of the Artist Loops, that's how big they are. I don't know what the small ones would look like, but that's the large, and I think that's going to look really fantastic as a nice big gathered skirt. But before I get into sewing those particular items, I have cut out a project this week. So I've had a really busy week at work. I had parent-teacher nights 2 nights until 8:30. I had another work event last night until 9:30 p.m. And then I'm working again tomorrow, Sunday. So I'm filming this on Saturday. So I haven't had a whole lot of time at home to do any sewing. But I did have one night that I was able to cut out my next project. So I received some beautiful fabric from my parents when they went to Bali last year, so over a year ago, and I've made 2 of them up. One of them I've made into a button-up shirt and the other just into a simple t-shirt. And my favorite of the 4 fabrics that they gave me, I've just been sort of wondering about and trying to decide on the pattern that I was going to use. And I have flip-flopped a lot of times and thought I was set on a pattern and then changed my mind. But I've finally decided, and now I've cut it out, so it's definitely set now. And I've decided to try to make the Selena Set by BF Patterns. So that's by Blackbird Fabric Patterns. And the Selena Set is like an A-line skirt. It does have a zip at the back, but it's also got elastic at the back, so for a bit more comfort. And then it's got like a halter neck cropped top that goes with it. Now the halter neck cropped top, I'm not really sure if I'd get all that much wear out of it, but it takes up hardly any fabric. So I was able to get the skirt and the crop top out of this 2.5 meter piece of fabric, or maybe it was 3 meters, but it was a very narrow fabric. So I did pretty well to get a top and a skirt out of those. So here's an example of one of the pattern pieces for the halter neck top. This is the front. That's been cut on the fold, and that is the fabric. So I've got the skirt also cut out, and I'm looking forward to starting to make that up. The length of the Selena skirt is around mid-calf length, and it has a slit down the center back so that you can walk more easily. And then it also has a lining, but only down to the knees. So I did also pop into Spotlight today and I picked up this lining. It's just a rayon that I think will work nicely underneath the skirt. So that's already been washed and dried. So now I am looking forward to making a start on this set. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to start working on tonight. I also had a wool delivery recently. I received for my birthday a subscription to the August Bird Yarn Club for 4 months on a DK weight yarn. And I recently received my July wool, which completes my 4 months. So this particular color is called Tea and Scones. And as you can see, it's a beautiful purple. So I've already, out of my 4 of the skeins that I got from this particular subscription, I have knitted up one of them, or at least part of one of them I used for a beanie. This one was June. And I'm not sure if I showed you May. I'll just grab it. I'm not sure where May went. So I'll put a picture in of the May one. I'm pretty sure it was like a green colorway, but if I'm wrong, you will see that on the screen now. So I've added a couple more DK weight yarns to my collection, which is great because I've really been enjoying knitting with DK weight recently. And that brings me to what I actually have been able to work on this week. And that is my Stripe Hype sweater by Veronica Lindberg. And I'm getting pretty close to finishing this, very, very close. This week I started on the second sleeve and it's very addictive. You just keep on knitting around and around, 8 rows at a time before you swap colors. So here is my second sleeve. So I need to finish this background stripe and then do one more green, one more background. And then I need to do the second cuff. Now the cuff, like this one, needs to be done in twisted rib. And I did this one on double pointed needles. So it's a little bit more time consuming than just going round and round on a knit stitch on circular needles. For this one, I did 25 rows to get the ribbing done. So I'll just do the same, obviously, on the other one. And then I'll need to pick up and do the neckband, which will also be a twisted rib. But that one will definitely fit on a circular needle. So I'll definitely be able to do that on that. So that's all I've got to go on that one. I was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to finish it in time to wear it this year. It's made of DK weight yarn, so it is quite a warm jumper. So it won't be the sort of jumper I can wear all year, but hopefully I'll be able to get some wear out of it before it gets too warm this year. I have looked ahead to next weekend's forecast and it's only going to be 12 degrees here next weekend. So that does give me a little bit more of a motivation to keep going on this. And hopefully, look, I don't think I'll get it done by next weekend, even though that was the goal. But just considering that I still have to do the cuffs and the neckband and get it washed and blocked, it's not likely I'll be wearing it next weekend, but I'll do my best. And yeah, it's very likely that we'll continue to have cold days dotted in between warmer ones for the next few months anyway. But absolutely loving that pattern and loving the way my 5 colors are all looking together. So that brings you up to date with everything that's been going on with my sewing and knitting recently. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye.